So we're going to talk about relationships. We're going to talk about dating. What's always been interesting me is that even in high school, even in middle school, have you ever heard of a summer fling? You ever heard of a summer fling? No, just me. All right, I'm actually very happy about that. But a summer fling, it's when you're in a relationship kind of just for the summer. Like when you're in a relationship just for, I don't know what you maybe call it, but it's like just for the summer, and it's like, hey, once the summer's over, we go back to school. This is over, but both of you know it. Like that's a summer fling. But what's interesting me about a summer fling, what's interesting to me about relationships is that a lot of times when you and even me when I was in high school, middle school, when we make these relationship decisions, when we make these decisions, who we're gonna date, who we're gonna be with, who we're gonna spend time with, a lot of times we make these decisions as if it's only going to affect now, right? As if it's only gonna affect me right now. Like a summer fling, it's only for the summer. It's only gonna affect me now. If I get in a relationship, hanging out, it's only gonna really affect me now. But we talked about this the first week of the sermon series, that the decisions that you make now actually do affect the things that you have to go through later. They actually affect the things that you have to go through in the fall, in the spring, even next year. So, what we're going to talk about, the big question tonight is, what are you looking for? Have you ever asked someone this? Like, what are you looking for in someone you want to date? Like, what are you looking for? What are the things that you're looking for? What is it that you're looking for? And I'm going to read out of a verse tonight, 1 Corinthians 13. We're going to read one verse, two verses, sorry. It says, love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud, it does not dishonor others, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered, it keeps no records of wrongs. Let's pray one more time. God, I thank you that we can come into an environment like this and we can talk about relationships. We can talk about dating. We can talk about it in a healthy way. I pray that all of us leave this not feeling shamed, not feeling as though we've made bad decisions, but actually feeling like we're worth something, actually feeling like we're worthy of love, worthy of being in a healthy relationship. I pray that you would teach us to look for the right things. In Jesus' name. And everyone said? Have you ever bought something that you kind of like regretted the minute after you bought it? Have you ever done that? You ever done that? Yeah. So I've done that probably too many times, if I'm being honest. I've done that a decent amount of times. I'm a quick trigger. Like, is anyone else like me? Like, once you see something, you just buy it. Like, you don't really think about it. Like, it's like, oh, that'd be cool. I'll buy it. And then in a minute, you're like, why'd I do it? I don't know. So I was at a hockey game, me and my wife. We were at a hockey game down in Florida, Tampa Bay Lightning, and I'm not a big hockey fan. I'm not huge into hockey, but I heard they're fun. So we got invited to go to this hockey game, and we go to the gift shop. Now, if you know anything about me at all, I cannot resist good merch. I can't. Even the shirt I'm wearing right now is a friend's clothing design. I just can't resist it. I just love merch. I love church merch. I love team merch. I love it all. I love merch. Anytime we go to a Warriors game, I'm not even a Warriors fan. There's shirts on the seats. I take it every time. I don't care. So I love merch. So I end up going into the store and everyone's talking about, all right, what are we going to buy? What are we going to buy? And I'm like, I want a jersey. I want a hockey jersey. I'm not a Tampa Bay Lightning fan. Haven't watched one game, but I want a jersey. Now, what you have to know about jerseys, they're very expensive. They're very expensive items of clothing. So we go in, and I see this jersey, and it's this jersey that like everyone has, you know, like I want to dare to be different. So everyone has these jerseys, these basic like blue jerseys, and these jerseys are extremely expensive. So what do? I see these jerseys that are like a different color. So I go over there and they're a little bit less. So I'm like, I'm buying this jersey. You guys can go buy the other jerseys. I'm gonna buy this jersey. So I go, I buy the jersey, spend way too much money on it, if I'm being honest, than I should have. And all of a sudden, after I buy the jersey, not while I buy the jersey, not before I buy the jersey, after I buy the jersey, one of our friends says, Joe, why'd you buy that? And I'm like, oh, I just wanted a jersey. Turns out it wasn't even an official like Tampa Bay Lightning jersey. It was like a practice jersey that no one buys. Like that's why they were so cheap, because no one else wanted it. So I spent all this money on this ugly jersey, and I want you to guess how many times I've worn it. Not once. Haven't worn it once. Can't even find it. But why do I tell this story? Why do I tell this story about a bad purchase? Because the reason why I bought this jersey, the reason why, there's only one reason. The reason why I bought this jersey was because when I walked into the store, I had no idea what I was looking for. I had no idea. I was just like, I want to go, I want to buy something. I'm just going to spend money. I don't know. I'm going to just buy something. So what ended up happening was because I didn't know what I was looking for, I ended up finding something that I didn't really want. Now, why do I say this tonight? Because what happens in relationships, what happens with you, with anyone who is maybe trying to find someone, is what happens is that you don't really know what you're looking for, right? Like you don't really know what you want. You haven't really thought about it. So what happens is because you don't know what you want, because you don't know what you're looking for, you actually end up finding some things that you didn't want to find. So what I want to do tonight is to encourage you. I'm not trying to shame you. I'm not trying to even tell you what to want. I just want you to process this question. What are you looking for and why? That's the question tonight. What are you looking for and why? Well, I want them to play sports. Why? Well, I want them to go to a good school someday. Why? Well, I want them to maybe make a lot of money one day. Why? Why do I say this? Because if all that it takes for someone to be worth your time, to be worth your Friday nights, to be worth you maybe even having to ask your parents for money, to be worth you maybe even having to go some places you don't want to go, to even be worth the potential of breaking your heart, to be worth some tears, to be worth some time, to be worth some months of your life, if all that it takes for them to be worth all of this is to choose the right sport, is to maybe get accepted into the right school, is to maybe have some parents that have a little bit of money, what you'll end up finding about yourself is you might find yourself in this cycle of relationships that are meaningless, that don't really mean a lot, that aren't really going anywhere, and that leave you heartbroken every single time, all because you never took a second to step back and say, what am I looking for? What is it? What am I looking for? What do you want? What do you want in a relationship? What do you want in someone that you want to date? What do you want in someone that could potentially be someone you're with for a long period of time? What do you want? So the main point tonight, we have 1-point messages here at Mission Youth. The main point, it might not be on the screen, but that's all right. It says, whatever you're looking for in a relationship, you'll find. That's the main point tonight. Whatever you look for in a relationship, you'll find. Can I be a youth pastor for a second? Can I talk to you as I'm your youth pastor for a second? The reason in my own life, when I was growing up, when I found myself in relationships that didn't last long, that were empty, that were shallow, the reason why I found those relationships, if I'm being honest, is because that's what I was looking for. You see, the reason why you might not be able to find a relationship that has meaning, that has worth, that has a value, might be because that's not what you're looking for. It might be because that's not what's on your list. It might be because that's not what you're processing. So my job tonight, what I want you to process as we close, what I want you to think about is this. I want you to process, what am I looking for, not in what a person does, but how they make you feel. You see, when you're writing down these lists, what are you looking for? What do you want? This list should not be based off of what do they do? What sport do they play? How much money do their parents have? No, it should not be based off that. It should be, how do they make me feel? How do they treat their friends? How do they pray? How do they maybe treat my friends? How do they treat people who they don't like? Because if I can be completely honest with you, if he'll cuss out your teacher, guess who he's probably gonna cuss out next? You. If she'll yell at her mom and she'll call her mom out of her name, guess who she's probably gonna yell at next? You. And my prayer for you, my prayer for our students, my prayer for you as a youth ministry and for us as we build is that you would not find yourself in relationships that are meaningless, that make you feel worse about yourself, that make you feel insecure, but that you actually would realize that you have value, that you're actually worthy of being in a relationship with someone who cares about you, that you're actually worthy of being in a relationship with someone who thinks about you, who doesn't think about what you can do for them, doesn't think about how you can serve them, but thinks about how can I serve you. What I love about this verse, it says, love is not self-seeking. If I can give you one thing to look for, selflessness. Not someone who says, what can I get out of this? How can I be served in this? What can you do for me? But is actually looking at you, lifting you up, saying, how can I serve you? And all of this, whether or not you're in a relationship, whether or not you're in one that has long-term value, even if it doesn't last forever, even if you have one that has value, if you find one that has worth, I promise you, what it's gonna start is with this question: What are you looking for? What are you looking for? What do you want? What do you want in your relationships? What do you want? What do you want when you're dating someone? What are you looking for? And if you can process that, if you can think like that, you will find yourself finding the things on your list. Let's stand to our feet.